are we vulnerable to climate change? And are the expected impacts real? Based on the two previous speakers, the governor and the PM, you will already be able to answer that question. But some persons may still have question marks and doubts. The outline of the presentation this morning, we will look at one or two of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change findings, briefly look at the global climatic trends, tropical cycle activity, a look at St. Martin climatology and trends are consistent with what we see globally and the impacts of climate change, and we will end with some strategic actions. If we were to look at the report from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, we notice some of the highlights from that report. And that report is indicating that the Earth is warming at a rate of 0.85 since the mid-19th century. Global sea level rise faster than at any time during the previous millennia. And many parts of the world, including small island developing states, changing rainfall is altering freshwater systems, affecting quality and quantity of water available. There is evidence of human activity changing our climate, and the impacts of climate change will affect the livelihood, coastal settlements, infrastructure, ecosystems, and economic stability for seeds, and rising sea level continues to pose an increasing threat to rural areas. These are just some of the highlights of that report, and I selected those highlights as it relates very much to the St. Martin situation. When we look at global climatic trends, if we look across here at this graph here, we see that a number of institutions are very consistent in terms of the increase in temperatures. A report from the World Meteorological Organization stated that 2015, 2016, and 2017 have been confirmed as the three wettest years on record. But we also need to note this, that 2016 still holds the global record, while 2017 was the wettest year without an El Niño year. El Niño years generally tend to have warmer years. When you have an El Niño year, global temperatures tend to increase. But we say that without an El Niño in 2017, we had a significant temperature increases. Next slide. In terms of global sea level rise, a report from NASA indicates that sea level has risen by about 8 inches since the beginning of the 20th century, and projections are more than 3 feet by the end of the century. We heard the governor, and he was talking about certain places in St. Martin that could be under sea level. If we look at that report, then it will be consistent. When we look at the tropical cyclone activity, data in the Atlantic basin coming closer to home, from 1878 to 2016, we can see that trend. We can see a general trend of more hurricanes. Next. But even going further, if we look at 1950 to 2016, in terms of intensity, it may not be very significant, but if you notice that the trend is for us to get stronger hurricanes. So we can see the trend here for stronger hurricanes. And that again is consistent with reports of the effects of climate change. This is a very interesting graph. And we're talking about here about major category hurricanes. From 1990 to 1925, a 25-year period, 13. From 26 to 69, a 43-year period, 28. We had a cool period between 1970 to 1994, 10. But if you look at this 22-year period ending 2017, 33, so we're not just only looking at more hurricanes, but we're looking at the possibility of stronger hurricanes. Coming closer to home, and looking at the climatology of St. Martin, the average maximum temperature 31.6, the average temperature 27.2, and the average minimum would be 22.6, and that data will be compiled from 1961.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Tell them, connecting you.
As for Minister DeWeaver, it has to do with border protection. We have received several complaints from especially business people not holding the Dutch nationality, that either have residency on either side of the island or they have businesses here. When they're coming in via the airport, they're being heavily questioned. I've had 2 incidences where business people, that it can be shown from their passports that they have come here frequently. They were asked, for instance, do you have pictures of your apartment? One of them actually owns property here. We need to see that. I do understand that there is, and I think they also understand that there's a need for better border protection, but it's also seen as them being very harassed, especially by the Dutch border protection officers that are here. 2 of the people that were harassed, I'm sorry that I'm being a little long, but I need to explain it, of course, have names that are in other parts of the world would be considered, suspicious, so to speak. So they felt, at least one gentleman felt very discriminated against coming in. You spoke about flights coming in, us building back better and doing business, etc. This is not a good impression for people that are bringing money into us. Have you also had similar complaints? And if yes, how is this being dealt with?
Thank you very much for your question, Ms. Singh. I'm aware of one situation that was brought to my attention. It was referred to the head of immigration, the good lady, to handle this situation according to the laws of the committee. Now, there was supposed to be a committee that should have been established before. That never was. So we have started to establish that committee so that any complaint that comes in will be handled in the correct manner. So we've asked this committee based on, well, we've asked the head of the department to handle this complaint as if it was part of the committee so that we can start preparing to establish that committee to handle any complaint through that department. The timeline for it, we started yesterday, technically speaking, because it came to my desk yesterday, because I've been traveling for the CTO Caribbean Week in New York, as well as the PAMAC conference, because next year we will be hosting the PAMAC conference in St. Martin. So we're looking forward to that, and we had to announce that in Punta Cana. And they came to my desk yesterday. So we started yesterday. The email went out, I believe on Monday, to the good lady at the immigration department, and we're busy working on it now.
July 1st, Emancipation Day is fast approaching. What are some of the planned activities for the observation of the day in question, and how much has been budgeted for the overall day of activities?
Thank you for the question, Steve. We are advancing with the preparations. I received a brief elucidation and a briefing by the Department of Culture. I think it's fitting and appropriate to have a more extensive preparation made through a press release with a breakdown of all the activities that are anticipated. There will be slight changes in comparison to the previous years, but I would allow the Department of Culture to be specific instead of highlighting a couple of them and then maybe making mistakes. Overall, we don't have a specific separate budget for Emancipation Day set out, but we have an overall budget of approximately 300,000 guilders for a variety of observances, such as, for instance, sometimes more funds that need to go to St. Martin Day observations. That depends on whether we are the organizers or whether it's the French side. And every year also for St. Martin, for Emancipation Day and other activities and observances and national holidays as well. Yeah? So I will promise that we will prepare a press release with a further breakdown so that everybody can further participate in activities that we are preparing.
Across St. Martin are switching to a more rewarding experience. The WIB MasterCard Fun Miles credit card, better known as My Card. Earn 1 Fun Mile for every $2 spent, even abroad and online. This will quickly get you a ton of Fun Miles to redeem for travel, shopping, food, fuel, and much more. But there's more to My Card. Worldwide acceptance, an EMV chip for extra security, and 250 free Fun Miles with first use. Switch to My Card today at WIB.
Fun miles, from within your reach.
Tell them, connecting you.
The financial support for the university, and I think that covered like their cost for 3 months or so, if I remember correctly. What is the current financial situation of the university? Did you follow up? Did they get more money? Because I don't hear anything that they are on the Abbas at the moment?
I will make sure that indeed further information and details will follow as we are now advancing in the month of June. And of course, in the meantime, in line with the Memorandum of Understanding that was agreed upon in December, the University of St. Martin was requested to submit their subsidy and submit a business plan, which are currently being consulted also together with the legislation for higher education. So those matters have been submitted, but are currently being reviewed. Of course, the University of St. Martin has received funding throughout the previous years and this year as well. But the additional funds that were made available indeed came to an end in the first quarter and are now awaiting the finalizations of the reviews and the audits that are also currently taking place with the university and the SOAB. So I'm sure that once conclusions are there, we can indeed properly inform the members of the media for the course forward. But as I've mentioned, once, of course, the University of St. Martin further expands its program, it will become a more sustainable and strong institution within our society.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
1,
2,
3,
4. This is how common it is to develop a mental illness. 1 out of every 4.
4,
4.
4. But there is hope. Today, most mental illnesses can be managed and treated. Visit your general doctor if you feel concerned about your thoughts and behaviors or have some difficulty dealing with some of life's issues.
If you have been diagnosed and are suffering from a mental illness, keep in mind these 4 points to help you manage your mental health.
1. Get regular checkups with your general doctor.
2. Stay on your treatment plan to prevent relapses.
3. Find a strong support group in your family and friends.
And 4. Never be afraid to ask for help and look out for the warning signs of your illness.
Remember, you are not alone. We are as close as one.
2.
3.
4.
Learn about mental health illness by going to the Mental Health Foundation's website at www.mhf-sxm.com.
Hello, St. Martin. My name is Stephanie Medina and I play football with the Walichi Women Soccer team. I have represented St. Martin in many different games. For example, the Dutch Caribbean Women's Soccer Cup. I played against Bonaire, Aruba, and Curacao right here in this stadium. Sports matter to me because it makes me happy, it keeps me fit and healthy, and it is very fun. So I asked the business community to take on this challenge and help us rebuild our facilities. And I also asked the community to nominate the local businesses in your area and take on the challenge and step up for sport. Why? Because sports matter. Check out the Department of Sport Facebook page for more information. Hashtag sports matter, hashtag are you in?
Madam Chair, I would like to, the Minister did mention about being able to present something at a later date, and I would like to take the Minister up on that. I don't know if we need 3 members to agree for that to happen prior to the public meeting, as he suggested. But I would assume, based on the queries that came forward, that we would have more than enough persons that agree that that presentation should be made, and that we actually make that like a standard mode of operation when we have laws coming to Parliament, that we have a good presentation of the before, the changes, what it touches, etc., in anticipation and for the education of the public as well, Madam Chair Lady. Thank you.
Thank you, MP Jacobs, for those comments. I see the Minister wishes to react to that. Minister De Wever.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, just for efficiency purposes, if we can use that as an introduction into the public meeting when we're going to approve the law, that would be, I think, a good time instead of coming back and forth. Thank you.
Thank you. The agenda point number 2 is the approval of the decision lists of Central Committee meetings for the parliamentary year 2017-2018, and the numbers of these lists are 1, 2, 5, 7, 9, 14, 15, 16, and 20. All members have received copies of these decision lists, and as you may have noticed, list number 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 17, and 19, particular sequence. And the reason for this is either because the meeting was called and never took place, or was adjourned and never reconvened. There is any member desirous of making any comments with respect to these decision lists before the Central Committee? We have MP Smith. MP Smith, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. How will the list be handled? Will you look at each list and deal with it, or deal with them as a group?
We will deal with them collectively, and a member wishing to make a point on any one of the lists can just indicate that. So,
as we go along, if a member wishes to make a point concerning any one of the lists, we can do
that happens now.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, MP Smith. And it might be efficient also for the records if I mention the list the list numbers again as we go on very specifically. The list number 1. Any comments? Number 2. Number 5. MP Smith on this list. Number 5.
Number 5, Madam Chair, I noticed that all the questions that were raised by MPs in that meeting, they were not answered. And then there was a comment that said at the end, would specifications, a copy of the draft management plan lagoon cleanup is needed. I wanted to ask if that draft management plan of the lagoon and cleanup, if that was submitted to Parliament.
Not according to my recollection, MP Smith, but in ratifying these decision lists, your query will again be noted. So your question will be formally noted and followed up upon.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, MP Smith. We have a question, or we have further comments, and we're on list number 5. Yes. MP Franz Richardson.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning. Yes, I have the same question, because there was a question I think was posed by your person and myself on that agenda point, and I was wondering if also the cleanup of the lagoon, because it was to get back some answers also that I did not see in here. The issue of the cleanup of the lagoon, will that be funded by the World Bank? I'm not sure if that information was given back to us. We did not receive it. The same thing concerning a copy of the draft management plan of the lagoon cleanup is needed. That too. I have it written here.
Noted, MP Franz Richardson, and again, those points will be noted and follow-up will be given with respect to having received or not the information as requested in that particular meeting.
Okay.
That's with the comments by members of Parliament on decision list number 5. We continue with decision list number 7. Decision list number 14.
Number
14, MP Smith.
Number 14. No, Madam Chair.
No
Thought I
comments
did.
on that one. Decision list number 15. Number 16.
Number 16.
MP Smith, number 16.
On page 4 of the decision list, mention is made that Parliament passed a motion to this effect and the legal ramifications. Is government reminded of this motion? Wasn't quite sure what that meant. Was a motion passed? And what were the legal ramifications? I couldn't find any further information concerning that. And on page 3, it says the chairlady indicates that a report will be made of these points and solutions will be looked at to resolve this problem. Has that report been made? And was that made available already to members of Parliament with the solutions included? That's my question.